So I'm Colombian American. Chacho, what are you?
Mexican.
You're Mexican.
From Zacatecas.
Beautiful. Okay.
American too. I forgot about the American part.
Okay.
You know what? A lot of people say first we're American, then we're what we are, right? I was born in America. It's one of those things where it's like you could hold on to both of your cultures. You could remember your roots and everything, but still be American.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, were you born in America?
I was not, but I still consider myself an American. And so that's what we're going to be talking about today. We are people who come from a family of immigrants, right? And so we recognize that at our home, there's a certain culture. Then outside of our home, there's another culture that we exist in as well.
Yeah.
So we wanted to talk a little bit about that today, a little bit about how the tension between those cultures and how we navigate that.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I feel like there's extremes that have been happening lately. Again, I'm American Mexican, right? And a lot of the times people will say I'm Mexican American or whatever. When I say I'm American Mexican, I'm not saying that I'm less Mexican because I'm American first, right?
Right.
Obviously, I'm in this country, and I would want, as let's say controversial as it might sound, I'd rather be here in America than I would in Mexico.
Sure.
But the thing is, when you're trying to, identify as a certain nationality or whatever, there's a way to do both in a very, very, non-controversial way.
A balanced way.
A balanced way. Yeah. In a cultural way, there's nothing wrong with being Mexican. There's nothing wrong with speaking Spanish.
Yes, of course.
It's not that I've never been ashamed to speak Spanish. It's just one of those things that there's God gave us essentially two different ways to find grace.
Yes.
You can either find grace in your American nationalism, or you can find grace in your Mexican culture.
Yes.
Right? With work, dude. I mean, you were gonna ask about a icebreaker.
Yes.
And I had a really good really good answer for it. What was the icebreaker?
Okay, so the icebreaker for today is the following. So it's kind of like a double question here, okay? So what's one challenge that you think you have that other people don't because of your culture or background?
Okay, challenge as far as my culture. All right, so without saying that I've had it uneasy, I will say this. There has been times where I've had a little prejudice towards me. And look, dude, I'm telling you right now, the only thing that I would say is universal, and this is going to be very controversial.
Okay.
The only thing people are actually prejudiced against is if you're ugly inside.
Okay.
Not ugly, but if you're ugly inside.
Okay.
If you're ugly inside, you will have a hard time here in America.
Of course.
Okay.
And that's anywhere, right?
Anywhere. I mean, what do we call them? We call them Karens.
Oh, okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? I don't know what you would call them in Mexico, but if you're ugly inside, you're gonna have prejudice.
Yeah.
Okay. So the challenge that I've had is, I've thought that it was a better route to take to be super, super proud of my, Mexican heritage. And so everything I spewed out was, from Mexico, I'm this, I'm that, I'm that. And so what ended up happening was, I wasn't able to relate with my coworkers as much as I could have. And so my prideful attitude was ugly. So then I found prejudice there. And it wasn't that they wanted me to be, American and they wanted me to be, against Mexico, or they wanted me not to be Mexican. Honestly, they just wanted for that balance to be, there's a time and place.
Right.
And the reason, here's what I'm talking about. There was times where we would speak Spanish and there would be, let's say non-Hispanics, non-Spanish speaking, in the same room.
Right.
And now that I'm a little older, I think, dude, how disrespectful is that?
It's a little rude.
I mean, we could have been talking about them, dude.
Yeah.
And so that's when I would find prejudice.
Okay.
And so, to answer your question, the challenging part was finding that balance of when can I, let's say portray my culture.
Sure.
When can I broadcast it?
Sure.
And when was there a time and place?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And it was just being prudent about it.
Yeah. And that comes with time and experience.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you? I mean, did you ever run into any challenges?
In regards to my culture specifically, I guess I don't know if I've been a direct victim of racism necessarily.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't recall any moments in my life where people were prejudiced against me just because of that. It's possible that it may have happened. I'm not sure. But one challenge I think that I had when I was growing up was actually my own self-identity. So I had a really negative self-image, and that I kind of would put white people on a pedestal in a weird way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a weird inferiority complex.
Oh, okay.
Right, which I think is not uncommon. This is something people have experienced.
Right? Yeah, definitely.
And so that wasn't.
They have a word for that. It's being whitewashed.
Okay, there's that.
It's like, what the heck is that, dude?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
Anyways, go ahead.
So I guess that's probably one challenge that I had was just learning and come to the realization that is just a false narrative.
Yeah.
There's not none of us are superior or inferior due to our culture or background.
Prejudice too. It's little did we know that we were almost creating our own prejudice.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
And I mean, dude, as far as racism goes or whatever, anytime I think back on it, if there was a moment that was being challenging to me, and I can directly point at, let's say my culture or my background, my ethnic background or whatever. Literally, it was probably because of a language barrier.
Yeah.
That's it. There wasn't racism. There wasn't, here's this, they don't like Mexicans. It was dude, well, what do you want me to do with you? You don't speak English.
Yeah.
And so, and that could be challenging. Obviously, you could be graceful about it. Obviously you can be patient about it. But man, have you ever ran into another culture where they don't speak English even?
Right.
They don't speak Spanish either. They don't speak English even. And you literally cannot understand what they're saying. And so it's there's just this social resistance that happens towards you. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You're just dude, I don't understand what you're saying.
So in that line of thinking, what's one benefit that you think you've had because of your culture?
Oh man, dude, look, I've been so blessed in learning what you had, right? That inferiority complex. I learned early on to rely on my Latino community, and I've been in blue collar work almost pretty much my whole life.
Yeah.
Okay. Anytime I run into any kind of issues, God's always placed me with my Latino community as and it sounds mean to say this, but as the janitor, as the server, as whatever,
Yeah.
in the service class. I've been in the same service class. I worked for the same company.
Yeah.
And so I've relied heavily on them. One example I can tell you is one time we're pushing up this BMW up a ramp, and it was gonna go into Mechanics Bay. My buddy writes a happy face on the window. I drew a happy face on the window too, just to, whatever. Well, come to find out that BMW belonged to somebody important. That person complained. We got in crazy big trouble, dude. And I was distraught, and I was really upset, and I was worried about my job. Well, the team that detail washed the cars for BMW at the time, my Latino homies, dude. So the guy reached out and he's like, hey, Josue, dude, tell your boss it's all good, bro. I'll detail the car for free. You do a lot of work for us, man. You help us out a ton. Yo te ayudo. I mean, all Spanish, right?
Yeah.
Yo te ayudo, no te preocupes, dude. Dile que no la haga gran cosa. Yo le lavo el carro. I'm like, man, thank you, I appreciate it, And so I go and I tell my boss, hey, I'll take care of the car.
Yeah.
How? Oh, well, we're gonna detail it or whatever. And it kind of mellowed things out or whatever.
So your community has come through for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
for sure.
Beautiful.
What about you?
What's one benefit? I would say just the fact that I'm bilingual.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And even broader than that, being bilingual also helps you just communicate in general. It helps, like being bilingual also helps me communicate better in English.
Really?
Just in general, right? Because I think when you learn more than one language, it forces you to be able to make yourself understood to other people. So the majority of my clients in my real estate career have been Spanish speaking.
Oh, okay.
And then I've also had Chinese clients, believe it or not, that for whatever reason, they tell me that I'm really good at communicating with them because I can relate to somebody who doesn't speak English.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so even though I don't know Chinese, I still know how to communicate and be effective in my communication.
Yeah.
Just because I have like a broader understanding of language.
Interesting.
So I would say that is the biggest way that that I benefited.
Yeah, I mean, like benefits or not, I mean, I'm sure we run into a lot more challenges though.
Sure.
I would say, because benefits, like I said, like, yeah, you know, you speak another language. Like I said, I can really come close with my community.
Yeah.
But we definitely run into a lot of different challenges because talking about identity, like as somebody that, you know, my parents are first immigrants, like who do I belong to then?
Right.
You know, can I proudly say that I'm Mexican? Well, yeah, I can. You know, can I proudly say that I'm American? Yes, I can as well. But then it's like, where do you actually fit? You know, where do you belong? And so, yeah, I mean, I feel like hopefully after this talk, we can, us as you know, Latin American kids that are English speaking, you know, hopefully we can find some middle ground, some identity after this program.
Yeah. So with that being said, we have some videos that kind of touch on some of these things, some of these cultural differences that we want to show you guys. And we also want to talk a little bit more about some of the differences that there are between like Central American people that come to the United States and people from South America or other parts of the world too.
Yep.
So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Desde septiembre se siente que viene diciembre.
For me, that's growing up, dude.
What?
That's Christmas time.
Really?
That to me, Christmas all day.
Do like the parrandas or something or what?
No, it's just that like because there's a song, right? That's the lyric of the song where basically like in Colombia, starting September 1st is when Christmas season, when the holidays start.
Oh my God.
So it's like a thing. We love Christmas.
October.
We love Christmas and we love any excuse to celebrate anything for a long time.
So there's no Halloween there?
I should know this, but I don't know.
Is there Halloween in Colombia? I don't know. I think there is. Dang, but you guys just skip all that. First of September, straight to
all the way through
planning the parranda.
Yes, exactly.
That's awesome, dude. Yeah. What a joyful country, bro.
It is. That is one of the things I love about my country. That we're a very joyful people. You know, very amicable, very friendly.
Nice. I wonder if that's what everyone's perspective about. Like Latin America in general, right?
Siguiente video.
All right, let's see this one. México no domina el mundo porque no quiere. Let me guess, a Mickey Mouse. ¡Y qué feo, man! Oh my God. Yo soy mecánico, bro. I know exactly what's happening there. Yeah. Crazy. Nomás porque no sabemos. Bro, we have a truck that is at the ranch where I grew up.
Yeah.
We could have easily fixed it. Like now that I'm older and I know how mechanic stuff works, an ignition switch was $15. You know what my dad did? He like elaborately wired in a red switch to push it to start the truck. It literally took him more time to wire in that switch than just to go to an AutoZone and buy an ignition switch, bro.
Well, why do you think that is? I feel like that's a common positive stereotype that Mexicans are very resourcewell.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay, so there's a saying, it's called you're reinventing the wheel.
Right.
And I legitimately think that they take pride in reinventing the wheel, dude. You know, maybe we're not humble enough to just, hey, how is this supposed to actually go?
Right.
You know what I mean? So there's definitely Latin American pride in there.
Got it. Okay, fair enough. Okay, next video.
Next video.
Listo, princesa. Llegamos. Pero espere, no se me vaya a bajar todavía. Listo, no se me vaya a bajar. Listo, mi amor, que es que... A ver, princesa, que es que... Primero lo primero. Hay que ser caballeroso, mi amor. Llegamos y lo va a traer a un sitio donde a usted le va a gustar mucho. Vamos. Listo, mi amor, vea. Aquí la trae. Como usted me había dicho que le gustaba la comida china y todo eso, aquí la trae, mi amor, y le va a encantar, princesa.
Bro,
vamos, mi amor. Entonces vamos a pedir.
Ay, pero yo veo esto aquí muy costoso.
Costoso. Usted me preocupe por eso, mi amor, que es que a eso estoy yo. A eso estoy yo. Pida lo que usted quiera. Bueno, llegamos en este sitio. Aquí la traje a este lugar que es muy rico para que nos tomemos unos coctelitos bien ricos. Venga, mi amor, bien fácil. Que se venga, pero por aquí le traje lo que usted quería. ¿Qué más quiere?
Nada, sí está bien, muchas gracias.
¿Segura? ¿Te traigo algo más?
No.
Sino que me digan, mi amor, para eso estamos. No, la pasamos súper rico, de verdad. Y aquí la comida deliciosa. Espero que te haya gustado.
Me encantó.
Entonces vamos, yo te llevo a tu casa.
No te preocupes, yo vivo aquí cerca.
No me preocupe. ¿Qué? No me preocupe, mi amor. Yo a usted la tengo que dejar en la puerta de su casa, allá adentro, hasta que usted no entre al portal de su casa, yo no me voy. Así que venga que yo la llevo. Oigan a esta, oigan a mi tía.
Bro, listen, one thing I'll tell you, Camilo, okay? I'm a married man.
Yeah.
I'm a straight married man. Bro, Colombian Spanish is just something else, dude.
Yeah.
It's just a lot sexier than Mexican Spanglish, dude. Colombian, like the way they say, like, I don't know, it just,
Yeah.
I don't even know. I mean, maybe Venezuelan, no, not so much. Nothing against people from Venezuela.
I'll tell you what, that guy's video, it just makes me laugh because Colombians were so, and I do this in English, but we're so
Extra?
yeah, we're just yappers.
Oh, okay.
You know,
okay,
we just we instead of saying things the simple way, we'll figure out the floweriest, most elaborate, decorative way to say something.
Man, I could see that.
So that made me laugh about
That's
that. You know,
funny,
Colombians we're something else. That's for sure.
I just like how like suave the words come out. you
That's
know?
true. No, and that we got it.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next one.
Juancho.
¿Cómo va todo?
Mal.
¿Por qué? ¿Qué pasó?
Abración mexicano.
¿Y?
Yo no sabía que los mexicanos abrazan por el lado contrario del resto de Latinoamérica.
No.
What's that view? Hug? I'm left.
Carnalito? ¿Cómo estás, güey?
Yo me incliné a la izquierda como todo Latinoamérica. Él se inclinó a la derecha como todo mexicano y fue inevitable.
Yo no estaría ahí toda la vida.
No.
No. ¿Y entonces?
Pues estamos saliendo.
Pero, güey.
No.
Yo no estaría ahí toda la vida.
Wait, so we go bam and then left.
Yeah,
What? What are they talking about?
I
Were they
didn't even know
Colombians?
that.
Were they Colombians?
they were Mexicans.
No, because he said, I saludé un mexicano.
Yes.
So that first guy was not Mexican. He was Colombian.
Los colombianos, ¿en qué lado saludamos?
I don't know. He sounded like he spoke suavemente. So he had to be Colombian. He had to be something else. Maybe Venezuela. We're just blaming everything on people from Venezuela. Just kidding.
Okay. All right, next video.
Hablo en nombre de toda Latinoamérica, es que a los mexicanos les encanta decir, tranquilo güey, no pica.
That dude is not
Sí
Mexican.
o no, el otro día hasta uno...
No.
Bro, last night I had a Alberto's
Yeah.
Mexican food, and like they sell the chiles picados or whatever they call them. Bro, that thing was fire, dude.
Yeah,
I love spicy food.
Yeah.
You're not a spicy food kind of.
Hey, growing up here in Southern California, I've learned how to do it, and I now if a plate doesn't have something spicy,
Really?
it doesn't feel complete to me.
Oh snap! That's probably why you get along with my wife's food.
My son is Mexican.
Oh, yeah,
Come on
that's
now,
true. That's
you know.
true.
So
Yeah.
I like the spice.
Mexico, Los Valientes.
That's it. All right, next one.
En Colombia no se dice casi me caigo, se dice.
Me fui de jeta.
En Colombia no se dice voy a coquetearle a alguien, se dice.
Le voy a echar los perros o a tirarle la labia.
En Colombia no se dice que alguien conduce mal, se dice.
Puñuelo.
Y en Colombia no se dice hola, se dice.
Oli.
Yo mando mis correos así. En Colombia no está lleno, se dice.
Está teteado.
En Colombia no se dice tengo muchas ganas de ir al baño, se dice.
Tengo la fulca.
Hay cosas que yo no entiendo de los millennials, pero bueno, yo diría esto y que me meo. En Colombia no se dice joven, se dice.
¿Sardino o chinito?
En Colombia no se dice ponerse ropa nueva el 24 de diciembre, se dice.
El stream.
En Colombia no se dice tengo un problema, se dice.
Cero mierdero que se me armó.
En Colombia no se dice hola, se dice.
¿Qué hizo?
That is one thing that I wish that I could relate to more, because Colombians have so many sayings and they're all really funny.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and they're all really like, there's lots of imagery in them and they're really, they're very characteristic of Colombia. But I didn't grow up there. And so there's so many things that are contextual to the culture itself, to like, to the places themselves or whatever, that there's a lot of them that I just don't know and don't understand.
Dude,
So
there's
I
things,
wish I understood what they were saying, honestly.
yeah, there's things that like even in, you know, in Mexico or whatever.
Yeah.
Like forget about Mexico. Let's just say in my, you know, Hispanic culture, that there's so many words, bro, that are like literally bad words for you guys to say and for me not to say.
Right.
You know? I remember one time I was helping my dad minister, bro. And I was talking about how los hermanos son perezosos.
Oh,
right?
no.
I was like, hermanos, no sean tan huevones.
Oh, no.
Like,
Oh,
I was like, hermanos, hay que ponernos a trabajar. My mom was like, no, you don't say that. Yeah, dude. And for me, like, you know, it was just being perezoso. Bro, big no-no, dude.
oh my God.
So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I wish I knew more of, but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
not the case.
Yeah, there's a lot of cultural differences that I think once you get here and you're in a place like Southern California, where we're a melting pot,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There's so many different things that you come to value, right? So with that being said, you know, we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next segment, but that was really fun.
Yeah, definitely. Good videos.
Real life, real faith, real fun. This is the spot where it all gets done. No.
So, Chach, we are talking about culture, identity, how these things intersect, right? You come from a Mexican family, I come from a Colombian family. So I wanted to talk a little bit about some of the things that we experienced growing up here in the United States as, you know, children of immigrants. I was born in Colombia, but I still feel like I'm second generation because I moved here when I was really young. I was just 10 months old. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that today, right? Because there's a lots of differences that when we were, you know, trying to develop this segment that we observed, right?
Yeah.
One of the major and first differences we notice is obviously in the language.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And even when you translate certain things directly, like they just don't make sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
For example, the use of the word love. I don't know if you've ever pondered this.
Yeah. You have, English has, I think they've like overplayed the word love. It's so easy to throw it around.
Right.
I mean, McDonald's has a slogan, I'm loving it.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Yeah, and when you think about it in Spanish, amor, like, gosh, it has like this romantic connotation to it.
It has a more profound connotation. Yes, exactly.
Yeah. Okay, so you know, it's not that like English is lesser than Spanish. There's just something that is engraved in us like so deep within our roots of our language that I want to say it speaks to us differently.
Yes.
Right? Check this out. When you like, what language do you think in?
Good question. I think mostly in English.
You think mostly in English?
Mostly, maybe like 90% in English.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know, then you have to translate it when you're speaking in Spanish, let's just say. Then you have to translate it in Spanish. But when you're speaking Spanish, there's times where I have to like, I'm speaking Spanish, I translate it into English and then I translate it back into Spanish, right?
Yes.
my spiritual life, for example, 99% of my spiritual life is in Spanish.
Right.
Why? Because I've gone to Spanish-speaking churches. My parents are Spanish-speaking. My parents are Christian.
Right.
And so I have this tie to my Spanish culture, my Spanish language, not only like in a cultural sense, but also in a spiritual sense.
That's interesting. Yeah.
You know, so when you hear things about like when you say something like love, but you hear it in Spanish, amor, like Dios es amor.
Oof.
Like, dude, it just hits different.
It does.
You know,
Yeah.
so yeah. I mean, there's a lot of words that do not translate over the same.
Yeah.
In our languages, Spanish and English. Our parents too. When our parents are trying to speak to us, you know, most of the time it's in Spanish, right?
Right.
So our closest relationships in our lives are in Spanish.
Right.
Mine are. I mean, I don't know about yours.
Also, yeah.
Yeah, so like, you know, you have like this weird, like your heart is tied to your language one way or another.
Yes.
You know, even the youth that doesn't know any Spanish. Okay, they don't know how to speak Spanish. Their parents talk to them in Spanish.
Yeah.
They respond in English. But even then, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of youth out there that like, you know, their closest relationships to them, their parents or whatever, it's in a Spanish language, let's
Yes,
just say, you
yes,
know?
yes.
So yeah, there's something to be said about that.
Absolutely. You know, just coming off of this example, the word love, right? And recognizing that in Spanish, there's this more profound dimension to it, right?
Yeah.
There's so many other examples that I can't list them all here of times where there's like the way you express it in one language just has more dimension to it. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
And I feel like when you only speak one language, if you only speak one language, what I'm saying to you probably doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And so I think that's one of the benefits and one of the things that's so powerful about speaking more than one language, because you can relate to that. You can realize and understand that like the depth of your expression is limited by your own language.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, definitely.
Which is, you know, it's really powerful in a lot of different ways.
For us, let's just say we're Spanish speaking, right?
Yes.
You know, there's one thing to be said about, you know, like teach your kids to speak Spanish. Like
yes.
My daughter, every night she says her verse in Spanish.
Okay.
Her agradecimientos, she says gracias señor for everything. This is all in Spanish. But like she speaks English.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Understands Spanish, speaks English. And there's a part of me that's like, oh my gosh, like I do not want that culture to die. You know what I mean? I don't want that language to die because like you're saying, there's some songs in Spanish, bro. There's some worship songs in Spanish that just hit so different than English worship songs, you know, and vice versa.
Vice versa, yeah.
There's some English songs that when you try to translate it into Spanish, it sounds like a knockoff Timu, you know, Wish.com version of that song, whatever.
Okay.
But you get to experience both sides of that culture. Yeah. You know, and you know, at the end of the day, we're always gonna try to introduce a richer life.
Correct.
Right? Well, we'll always want to bring you closer to God.
Yes.
I want you to, you know, bring you closer to your friends, closer to your community, your family, Spanish-speaking family, and we'll want you to preach the gospel. Well, dude, if you're bilingual, you know, if you learn to speak Spanish or you make an attempt at that, you know, and here we are, hypocrites, not talking in Spanish.
I know, right? You know, one of the other things that I thought about while we were talking about some of the differences is just about like the family structure, right? The family dynamics within you know, regular like white American households as opposed to Hispanic ones, right? Yeah. And one of the common things that that you see a lot is in you know, like Anglo-Saxon households, is that their children, they'll leave as soon as they turn 18. Yeah. It's very common for you to hear people say, yeah, you know, he went off to Michigan and he's studying this and that, or he moved across the country and now he's studying this and that in New York or in California, whatever, right? Yeah. And so the idea of breaking up a family when one of the kids is still only 18 is, for a Latino household, this is foreign. This is not the norm. Yeah, right? Yeah. What do you think about that? What do you think about Americans doing that?
So I would say around World War II. Yeah. When everything, like let's say the economy was flourishing, man. I mean, it was, buying a house after you got out of the military, after you came out of war, you were young, right? Because they were drafting,
right?
It was easy. So it like gave this Western culture almost like a sense of independence, like a push for freedom, let's just say. And so this Western idea of, as soon as you turn 18 and you're independent now, you could legally vote, you can, all these different things. I felt like it started promoting your way away from the nuclear family.
Yeah.
And I mean, I personally had friends, dude, that like the dad, and these friends they were brats. Okay, I'll just be honest.
All right.
They were immature brats, very lazy young men. I played video games with them too, so that there were times when I was lazy with them too. So.
Sure.
But the dad would be like, I cannot wait till you're 18 and I kick you out of the house. And I was like, nah, there's no way, dude.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, bro, one of them was 18 while he was a senior in high school, okay? So the guy waited for him to graduate, and the kid knew that as soon as he graduated, he was gone, bro.
Wow.
And it wasn't until like greener pastures, it wasn't to go become more educated, right? He was just gone.
Wow.
Yeah, dude. So I don't know if like this Western, like you got to be independent at 18, is now starting to jump into our Hispanic culture.
Yeah, there's something to that, because I can relate, having grown up in this culture. When I got to that age, when I was 18, I had a burning desire to just get out of my house and do whatever I wanted.
Dude, I would threaten my mom, bro.
Yeah.
I'd be like, you gotta keep me on for one more year, mom. One more year.
I was such a fool that, and I was so dramatic. I got a trash bag with all my clothes, threw it in there.
God.
I thought it was like, I don't know,
at 18?
like a pilgrim. I don't know. Put it all on my shoulder. Yeah, I was 18.
Oh no!
Threw it in my 2004 Suzuki.
Oh,
and then just drove off. To do what? I have no idea.
Oh my God!
So yeah, I would say that many of us, when we grow up in this culture, we learn and we're taught that you should, as soon as you're 18, you're an adult. You can do whatever you want.
You can vote.
We're sold the dream.
Yeah.
But we're not sold the responsibility aspect of it.
No,
we're not
at all.
I mean, maybe some are, right?
Well, dude, I would say our parents went through so much suffering that they don't want to see us suffer.
Sure.
And now they've created this generation of like helpless teens.
Yeah.
There's a saying, it says, strong men create weak times create weak men, right? And so when our parents did they did the impossible, came to the United States, had the struggle, and then just gave it all to their kids, you know? I mean, my parents, economically, they weren't able to do so, but they were definitely not as hard on me as their childhood was. Their childhood was brutal.
Yeah.
And so, they've kind of like, not my parents per se, but we've bought into this idea of at 18, it's a good idea. Bro, I have 2 daughters, dude.
Yeah.
There's no way that I think that at 18, my daughters need to go out of the house. There's no way, bro.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we need to let go of. I think it's very prideful. I don't think it's a good idea at all, especially with this economy,
Sure.
So, I would like self-reflect and be like, is it pride that I'm holding on to that at 18 I need to move out of my parents' house? Or like what is it? Give me a good explanation, because moving out to go rent something, I don't think is a good idea for the right reasons.
Okay.
You can incorporate responsibility in a whole nother different way. You can help your parents, get a job. Like there's so many different ways that you can learn suffering, and that's, hey, kid, you're 18 now, I'm not paying your cell phone bill. You're 18 now, I'm not paying you your insurance, whatever. So many different ways than just be like, go live on your own,
Yeah.
Which I don't think Hispanic, Latino parents actually think that way.
Yeah.
They might have been influenced by this Western culture, but me thinking about my kids, my 2 girls moving out, there's no way, dude.
Right.
Would you let David leave at 18 or force him out?
We're quite a ways away from that. I wouldn't force him out, but if he had like a solid plan, I wouldn't see why not.
Yeah.
Most kids don't, which is okay, because who has their life figured out at 18?
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But with that being said, it's clear that there's lots of differences, right? Some of them are good, some of them are bad. But one of the things that we can always hold on to is that which unifies us.
Yeah.
Right? And it's that culture that we find in the Word, in God's Scripture. Right?
Yeah.
So if there's anything that we can give you guys and like offer you some solace to move forward with, it's that, right?
Yeah.
So with that being said, we've talked a lot about some of the differences we have in our cultures, but now I want to take a moment to reflect about the things that actually unify us. So stay tuned.
Real life, real faith, real fun. This is the spot where it all gets done. No.
When I was growing up, I went to an event where there was lots of different churches in my denomination, and they all came together for a worship event. Now there was churches from Korea, there was African churches, there was Baptist churches, Anglo-American churches, Hispanic churches. So it was really, really beautiful and fun to see how these different cultures approached worship. We had a Korean choir come, and they were all very organized with the same uniform, really tight, perfect harmonies. We had the African worship team that came in, and they were all dressed in different colors, and they were a lot more lively and active and physical in the way that they worshiped. You had Hispanic American churches who would come in and were very rhythmic and festive in the way that they worshiped, and everything in between. The thing that I thought that was beautiful and that has always stuck with me is that despite all of our differences, we all came together under one umbrella. And we all came together with the same purpose to glorify the same God. God has created culture for a reason, and it's so that He might be glorified through a number of different ways. And if there's anything that I hope you guys took away from this today, is that God is going to manifest Himself and glorify Himself in a lot of different ways. And there's no one culture that does things right and one culture that does things wrong. We talked a lot about some of the things that we have. We talked a lot about some of the differences that we have growing up here in America. But there's also a lot of things that this culture has done right and we can learn from. When we consider the example of a young person leaving their house at 18, a Hispanic person might think that it's cruel, a little bit cold, but an American might view it as helping their child achieve independence and maturation, right? For example, an American family might think that letting your children stay at home for longer than 18 is enabling. It's making them be lazier, but really it comes from a place of unity, of love, of wanting to ensure that your child is nurtured to the day that they're ready to create their own life. This is the kind of compassion that we can offer each other. Too often we're talking about the things that divide us, and we don't take the time to just extend that grace that God gives us to the other. Now there's a Bible verse that I think speaks exactly to what I'm talking about, and it's Colossians 3:11, and it says this: "Here there is no Gentile or Jew, circumcised or uncircumcised, barbarian, Scythian, slave or free, but Christ is all and is in all." What a beautiful reminder of the unity that we have and can find in Christ. Another verse that I think is important to consider here is Romans 12:2. "Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, His good, pleasing, and perfect will." So, and whatever way your culture tries to sway you, whether it be positive or negative. So with that being said, I wanted to share a song with you guys from 2 artists who did exactly that. 2 people from 2 completely different cultures came together to worship God in a beautiful way. The song is called Holy Forever by Chris Tomlin and Miel San Marcos. And I pray that it is as big of a blessing for you as it has been for me. We thank you guys, and we look forward to seeing you at the next episode.
Real faith, real fun. This done. No